The excitement is building in Austin. The 86th Texas Legislature is set to begin on Tuesday of next week. Of course, lawmakers will deal with lots of controversial items over the next 5 months that they will be in session, including challenges surrounding the funding of Texas public schools. Not surprisingly, leaders of the American Federation of Teachers have put together a list of their legislative priorities. Our Michelle Pedraza here tonight with a look at how local teachers could be impacted. Michelle?
Well, there are several different topics when it comes to education, but according to Dr. Nancy Vetta, president of the Corpus Christi's American Federation of Teachers, the biggest one is funding. The Federation wants Texas public schools to be fully funded, allowing students to meet the state's academic expectations and for teachers to be paid fairly. And the union says they want to do that by finding a way to maintain the funding while cutting corporate tax breaks. But maybe the most important for students, they want to get rid of the A to F rating system, which is based largely on student test scores.
It's harmful to children. I mean, we as educators need to be able to teach what we believe the children need, where they are with what they have. The public schools educate every child, regardless of where they are. And many times when you base punitive actions on one accountability standard, like the standardized tests, then you're not really educating students, you're making them into robots.
I also spoke to CCISD School Board Secretary Alice Hawkins, whose main concern is money being given to charter schools.
The money that is taken from the fund and given to the charter schools is money that can be used to help educate our children. The big problem that I see with that is charter schools can pick and choose any student they want. They don't have to provide services like for special needs kids. If they choose not to, they just reject the child.
AFT adds they are working with legislators, including Representatives Abel Herrero and Todd Hunter and Senator Chuy Hinojosa, to receive more funding and to eliminate the A to F system. Now, we did ask Corpus Christi ISD what priorities it has for this session. The district sent this statement. It reads, in general, CCISD joins districts statewide in monitoring the upcoming session with particular attention to state funding for public schools as well as funding for pre-K expansion. Joe.
Okay, we'll be following that, Michelle. And